Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining our December webinar. Right before Christmas, we're going to be looking at mastering Microsoft Copilot, tips, tricks, and hidden gems. We're just going to give it a minute or so just to let people join. We've got a busy session this morning, so we'll just give everyone time to kind of get dialed in and ready. Morning, Ian.
Morning. Um, just while we're waiting, I'll run through the agenda for the people who are already on. Um, so we'll run today's webinar like this. We're quickly going to run through some statistics which are highlighting the productivity challenges right now, AI adoption, and obviously also the benefits of AI in the workplace. We're then going to showcase some of the most useful day-to-day functions in Copilot via a real-world kind of scenario. It involves dogs and shampoos, that's all I will say. We'll then take you through some of the upcoming exciting new functionality in Copilot, some of which we're testing right now, and some of which is due to launch literally imminently. We will have time for questions at the end, so if you'd like to send any questions in the Q&A chat, we'll do our very best to pick them all up. Anything we don't, we'll add to the slide deck, which we're going to send out to every person who registered anyway. And lastly, we'll speak about the next steps. You're here today because you've either got Copilot or you're thinking about having Copilot, and we can help you with the whole process. So let's talk, and we'll kind of tell you how we can enable that at the end. Okay, quick intro on Mark and I. Mark, I'll let you go first.
Thank you, Ian. So I'm Mark Stamper. I'm Chief Digital Transformation Officer at Igloo. I and my team, we are responsible for everything digital transformation. So that covers a whole gamut. So it covers SharePoint, Teams, OneDrive, Power Platform, and of course, Copilot, which is what we're here to talk to you about today.
Yeah. I'm Ian Parker, Chief Marketing Officer at Igloo. I'm responsible for shaping our brand's identity, driving business growth through all the multiple marketing techniques that we have. This includes everything from digital marketing, social media campaigns, to all the content creation and market analysis. I focus on really creating campaigns that are not only unique, but also effective, ensuring we reach our target audience and achieve our business goals, one of which is the ever-growing Copilot, of course, which we're here to talk about today. I'm just going to move on to some statistics. We love a stat here at Igloo, as we've mentioned on previous webinars. I mean, if we look here on the productivity challenges, so there's some pretty stark facts here. I'll just focus on the 68% of people who say they're struggling with the amount of work that they have, along with the sheer pace of the workplace. This leads to 46% of people feeling the dreaded burnout. Pretty alarming overall. Well, look, businesses today, they face increasing complexity in their operations. Many are struggling to kind of really manage and analyze all that increasingly large amount of data that they have, all the while dealing with a ton of inefficiencies with like redundant manual processes. These challenges are ultimately now driving the adoption of AI solutions like Copilot. By streaming a lot of the repetitive tasks that I've just mentioned through automation, and obviously then enhancing data analysis capabilities, providing real-time decision support, and augmenting employee skills with AI tools, businesses can then really start to significantly improve their efficiencies and effectiveness. Move on to AI adoption. So AI adoption in the workplace is really on the rise, particularly in 2024. Huge 75% of knowledge workers are now using AI tools in some way, shape, or form. Over half of that's within the last 6 months. We ourselves here at Igloo, we really adopted Copilot in the first half of this year. Our first webinar on it was actually in May, which you can probably find on our YouTube channel if you're interested. It does, yeah. Lots moved on, and lots been added to Copilot as well. Yeah. Hence why we're here again today, really. Despite all of this, though, 64% of workers actually still struggle with managing their time and energy, largely due to spending 57, so over half the day just on communication. So, you know, meetings, emails, chats, calls, and the like. So off the bat, AI offers significant benefits. Automating the repetitive tasks, which I mentioned earlier, that really helps boost efficiency, and it provides you with data-driven insights for ultimately better decision making as a business. I think what is really key is that embracing AI is absolutely essential for improving productivity and maintaining that competitive edge in today's fast-paced business environment. If you're a business leader and you're not looking to adopt AI, yeah, now's the time to seriously think about it.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, it's been very much the year of AI, hasn't it? I know
Definitely,
ChatGPT launched in 2022, with Copilot coming kind of tail end of last year, but AI has been everywhere this year. Apple's jumped on the bandwagon now, a little late to the
yeah,
party.
yeah.
I mean, I use AI tools every day. I use the Copilot, obviously. I have started to look at Apple Intelligence on my phone. But even in tools like Photoshop as well, the AI is kind of there, and everywhere you go, it is kind of
Yeah,
it is becoming ubiquitous.
definitely is. And that's because there's a lot of benefits. Moving on to AI benefits. AI offers substantial benefits in the workplace. 90% of users reports time savings, 84% experience increased creativity and productivity. Um, Additionally, 85% of employees feel they can now focus on more important tasks, and a massive 83% of people actually enjoy their work more due to AI. It's pretty staggering, really. These advantages, they obviously highlight the transformative impact of AI on productivity and ultimately people's job satisfaction. So, yeah, overall, Mark, AI is here to stay, and for good reason.
Yeah, absolutely. And when it's said about saving time, it saves me so much time every day.
Yeah,
Um, previously I would kind of, I'd say, I know Ian sent me a document and I know what it was about, but was it in Teams? Was it in email? I'm not quite sure. So previously I'd kind of go to my email and look for it. Is it there? No, it's not there. Well, I'll go to Teams and find it. Now I
yeah,
just ask Copilot and say, find me the document about X that Ian shared with me, and it'll find it, whether it's in Teams or just tiny little things like that. Just find this for me, please. So I kind of, yeah, I use it constantly, and it does save me a ton of time. And just all of those little, like you said, kind of making your work more enjoyable. All of
yeah.
those kind of little admin things have just kind of been eliminated,
Well,
to some extent.
they're real world scenarios. So let's kind of move on to our real world scenario, so to speak, just to kind of
Mm.
showcase some of the kind of the best bits of Copilot, the day to day stuff that you'll actually
Yeah.
use. Um, so yeah,
Okay, so I came up with the idea of Ian and I setting up a little side hustle. We're both dog owners, so I came up with the idea of a mobile dog grooming business, which I've pitched to Ian. So what we're going to do over the coming kind of slides and demos is show and explain how the two of us use Copilot across the various elements of the M365 suite with our new venture. Right, so we're going to run through 6 kind of scenarios. The first is brainstorming, where I'm going to show you summarizing email within Outlook, and setting up a meeting. Then we're going to go on to being creative, which I'm looking forward to. Ian's gonna run that one, where we're going to have a look at generating business name ideas, logo creation. Then we're going to look at planning, so that's putting together a business plan in Word. We'll then move on to pitching, where I'm going to generate a PowerPoint deck so that we can promote our business to investors. Then going to jump into Excel and do a little bit of analysis of some customer reviews that we've had on our business. Then finally, we're going to jump over being productive. This is going to be an exciting one. And this is using Copilot to understand process information that we have stored within SharePoint. Right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to share my screen. And I'm going to jump into Outlook. So here I've got my folder. I've got a long email thread that Ian and I have kind of worked on over the last few weeks. It's worth noting that I used Copilot itself. I'm going to be completely honest here. I used Copilot itself to generate this email. So I gave it the idea of what my idea was, what I wanted to say, and it kind of generated this. I sent that to Ian. Ian, you use Copilot to reply back.
Yeah.
And then I replied back, and Ian replied back. So we've got this kind of long running thread going on here. There's kind of a lot happening. A great thing that Copilot can do is allow you just to quickly summarize that email. So if I click on the summary by Copilot link there, it's brought me up. So it's given me a good summary there. I proposed a dog grooming business to Ian, highlighting the growing pet industry and the lack of high quality grooming services. Summarizes kind of our conversation. If I want, I can open up Copilot itself. It'll open up in the sidebar, and I can interrogate that kind of email thread a little bit more to kind of get some more information out. But now I've got that summarized, I think, right, okay, we've said we want to, I'm just going to close the summary. Ian and I want to arrange a meeting so we can kind of talk about it and really move forward with the venture. So what I'm going to do now is find a time for us to talk. So if I click on other reply actions, I can actually schedule this meeting with Copilot. What we'll have to do, because that goes into a different pop-up window, I'm just going to share that pop-up. So what it's done, give me a view of my calendar here. Let's put the relevant people in. Summarized, it's included the email, it's given me a proposed agenda based on the summary, it's summarized the conversation that we've had so far, so I don't need to kind of worry about doing that. I'm just going to say insert, so that's there, it's in there and ready, and then I'm going to ask it to find a time for me, and it's going to look at my calendar, and it's given me the next available slots that Ian and I are available, so I can just click one of those, send the meeting to Ian. We can jump onto a Teams call, and of course we'll use Copilot within the Teams call to record the conversation, and then we'll use the kind of AI notes off the back of that. Everyone's kind of familiar with using Teams if you use Copilot. One of its kind of standout features.
Yeah, I think if we mentioned earlier about how much time people spend just on the community. I think it's 57% of the day. And that simple, that interaction there, that's kind of sending of emails, summarizing of emails, writing a reply to emails that Copilot's kind of taking care of. Obviously, you're going to let it summarize your email and draft your email. You're going to read that before you send it. Yeah, because Copilot, you want it to be in your own kind of tone of voice, which obviously over time Copilot does pick up and learn. But yeah, you need to kind of sense check everything. But yeah, that already is a massive time saving.
Yeah, and
really simple and straightforward as well.
Yeah, and I mean we've only got 2 people on this meeting, and our calendars are relatively free for today. But you can imagine if you've got 6, 7 people, we've all been trying to herd cats to find. Just trying to find when people are actually available. So if Copilot can look ahead and say, well, you're all available next Thursday at 2, brilliant, just go for it.
So yeah, you've got your meeting now. So
I can just send that meeting, and we'll have that conversation.
Yeah. So we've kind of had that initial chat, those initial ideas. So I feel like it's we probably need a company name and a tagline and a logo. I think.
Sounds like a great idea. I think it's time to get creative, Ian.
Yeah. Okay, I'll just share my screen. Hopefully that works fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've already pre-typed it in there. So let's just. You get the gist. This is what Copilot looks like. You type something in. It's all to do with the prompts that you put in, obviously. So you've got to play around with it a little bit. Oh, there we go. Straight away, some lovely ideas. And then I'll put. How about a catchy slogan? There we go. Lovely. Right. So let me see. Bark and Bathe Express. I like that one. Yeah.
That's a good one. I like that one.
Yeah, I like that one. Okay. Can you do me can you do me a logo?
This never ceases to amaze me.
Yeah.
I love this. I love this. The things I've kind of played around with just to see what you can get it to do is kind of incredible. I've kind of got it to generate kind of Pixar or Disney style versions of people, and you can get really, really detailed with it.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm liking that one. Yeah, that is a good one.
I like
Yeah,
that.
that. Okay. Okay, so Bark and Bave Express. So that's got a nice ring to it. What we now need to do is we need a business plan. So we need to get working on that now. We've done the kind of nice creative bits. We've got a nice little logo, we've got a nice catchy name. So yeah, let's chuck that in there. Bark and Bave Express. I've already pre-typed this out just to save a little bit of time, but obviously you get the little Copilot pop-up that you click on, type in the text box, generate. So, business plan. Now, just considering the amount of time this would have taken me to think about it, have a template for in the
Yeah.
first place, straight away Copilot started doing that for me, which is, yeah, I love that. It saved me a ton of time.
And if you're anything like me, being presented with a blank document, a blank sheet of paper, I can just sit there and go, I
Yeah,
know I want to write something, I'm not sure what, and it can take 15 minutes just to kind of
yeah.
start typing anything.
Exactly. And I mean, look at this straight away there. You've got your marketing strategy, the services offered. So it might even come up with stuff that you've not even thought of yourself yet. Operational plan, financial plan, monthly operating costs, and so on, even revenue projections there. So just off that simple command, it's given me some great detail to start with. Yeah, this might not be my finished article. I might have to add, delete, amend as I go along, but that's given us a framework to work with, and that saved me straight away a couple of hours at least. So yeah, so I guess off the back of that, Mark, we've got a bit of a plan. We need to kind of start pitching it, don't we? We need some
Yeah,
investors involved.
yeah, absolutely. I do really like the way as well it's kind of put that in a table for you. And you didn't
It does,
ask,
yeah,
it's kind of understood the context of the question that you've asked it.
yeah,
And it would kind of say, oh, I'll put this in the table. I've seen situations where that doesn't happen, and then you can just highlight a piece of text and ask Copilot, summarize this into a table for me, and it'll kind of reformat it and kind of do all that for you,
yeah.
which is absolutely amazing. Right. I am going to jump now into PowerPoint. And here I'm using PowerPoint on the web, but it could easily be within the desktop app. It's all kind of the same. I'm going to create a blank presentation. Brilliant. Let me just refresh that window. I've had that window open for some time.
Choice of live webinars there.
There we go. So it's popped up this. I've got my little Copilot icon has kind of appeared here, and I've got a couple of options. I'm able to say create a presentation from a file, so I can reference a file that already exists and ask it to kind of look at it and generate that. Or I can say create a presentation about a particular topic. There'll be a little bit more coming up on this in the what's coming soon, but I'm going to say create a presentation about. I'm just going to grab what's in my clipboard and I'm going to paste that in. So I'm setting up a mobile dog grooming business called, and it was Bark and Bathe Express,
Bark
wasn't
and
it?
Babe Express, yeah.
Love it.
It's got a ring to it.
Express. Offering mobile grooming services. So I've told it all about what it is I'm kind of trying to do. You'll notice I've got up to 2,000 characters here. I'm only using 500 of those, so you can get really, really kind of detailed with that. I'm kind of quite happy with that prompt, so I'm going to ask Copilot to help me and generate my PowerPoint deck. Let me try again.
Oh.
Love a live demo.
Yeah, yeah. Worked perfectly in testing, didn't it?
Bark and Bathe Express. Try one more.
But we should have a musical interlude.
Arc and Bathe Express.
Okay. It's yeah, it's always a risk with a live demo. Something works perfectly in testing. When you go live, it doesn't. Yeah, we might need to investigate
Let,
that
let
a little
me
bit.
let me just
But not now.
let me just jump into PowerPoint desktop rather than PowerPoint web, and I'll share that. I've got PowerPoint desktop, got the same options, create a presentation about. I'm going to paste that in.
Express.
Arc and Bathe Express.
Okay, right.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, right.
What we'll do,
What it would
what
do.
we will do, what I'll do, we've obviously got a little bit of a technical glitch there. What I'll do, post the webinar, I'll actually record me actually running through this, and then we can attach that. We can send that along with the deck, and so people have got access to that and can actually see
Yeah,
that
that's
running.
fine.
But what you will see, PowerPoint will actually, this is kind of uses what's called the narrative builder, and it builds up a list of everything it's going to kind of create. You can a listing of the slides, you can move it around, you can tweak it. Then you click go, and it'll generate all of those slides for you. Goes off to the internet and finds appropriate images. There'll be a little bit more on that a little later. But again, just like the business case document that Ian put together, it really is a way to kind of get yourself started with that and perhaps put some ideas in that you haven't thought about. It will do the slide notes for you. We'll put those in, so they're kind of all kind of ready to go. So that really is a time saver. That is frustrating when it works in testing, but the perils of a live demo, as you
Yeah,
said, Ian.
yeah, yeah. So
Right.
yeah, let's move on to Excel.
Let me just share my screen again. So we're going to move on to Excel. So our business venture is up and running now, and we've got a list of 100 reviews that we've had from customers. They've put some comments in around that. They've given us a score based on price, efficiency, and service. There's a kind of a lot for me to dig through here, so I'm going to see what I can get Excel to kind of make of that. So I'm going to open up Copilot. Just going to move that out of the way. And I'm going to ask it to summarize the sentiment of the reviews. Summarize the sentiments within the review text. And what it's going to do is kind of look at the data in this table. And we're all familiar these days. Again, this has probably happened this year. When you look on Amazon, you look at reviews for things, it will give you the AI summary. So we'll say, most customers thought that the fit of this t-shirt was good, but there were some questions over quality. It's that kind of thing. So that's what Copilot's effectively going to do here. It's going to summarize. Right, great. That's actually worked. So, positive sentiments. Several reviews express positive sentiments, highlighting excellent service, efficiency. That's great. Some are mixed. We've got some neutrals. We've got some negatives in here as well. So maybe we're not doing so well here, Ian.
Yeah.
Poor service, inefficiency, high prices. Okay, that's something we might want to look at. Um, and we've got some suggestions for improvement as well. So just, I've rather than me kind of having to pick through that data, Copilot has given me a good kind of summary of the sentiment within that. I might want to kind of look at that and say, well, let's focus on the kind of negative reviews so we can kind of look at those. I'm going to ask Copilot to the highlight the reviews with negative sentiments. Going to pay through. Okay, it's given me the option to say poor. Yeah, I can say apply. Where anyone's mentioned that something was poor, that's kind of highlighted that So we can see we've got a little bit of work to do there, Ian. But it's
Yep.
I could want to say let's have a look at service again. Um, Highlight any rows where the service is rated 3 or lower. I could have left the typo in. Copilot is actually quite good for typos, which is good for me.
You think about how much time this is saving you in Excel.
Yeah.
I use Excel every day, but I can't say that I'm an expert at it. And I
Mm.
generally end up wasting a lot of time trying to find what I need in Excel, or
Yeah.
do the right formula. So yeah, this is
And
great.
Copilot's kind of great at that. You can say, I want to do this. And if it doesn't do it automatically for you, we can say, this is what you need to do. So rather than you going off to Google and saying, how do I kind of create a formula to do this? You can ask Copilot and it'll say, click here, do this, do that. So that's really great. But what I've done here is said, I've highlighted all of the reviews where service is 3 or lower. So Ian and I can kind of look at those customer reviews and kind of focus on that.
Yeah. In the background, whilst you've been talking there, I've managed to get PowerPoint to do me a slide deck, by the way. So
Brilliant. Could you share that for me, please, Ian?
yes, I certainly will. Yeah. Let me just share my screen just so I can show you the results. So if we look at that, I simply typed in Mark's command earlier, and this is put together.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, and using imagery that I certainly haven't created. So this has added all of this for me. So yeah,
You can see the notes in there as well. It's even put the slide notes
exactly.
in there
Yeah,
for you.
yeah. So, and that's just off that one simple like paragraph command. So yeah, I won't go through all the slides, but you get the idea. And if you imagine how much time we've all spent doing a PowerPoint slide deck,
Yeah.
yeah, massive, massive time saver. So yeah, there you go.
Thanks for that, Ian.
No worries.
You kind of saved it there. Right. What I'm going to do now, we are going to look at looking at some of our process data that we've got stored in SharePoint. So our business is kind of up and running. We're storing all of our process information in SharePoint so our employees can kind of pick through that. So let me show how that looks. So what we've got in our original kind of email summary, Ian had suggested that we use our friends at Igloo to kind of help build us some online systems, and that's exactly what Igloo have done for us here. So we have a processes site. It's a SharePoint site where we store all of our process information. It's connected to our employee experience. Not going to talk it in too much detail about the employee experience. There is a link to our previous webinar on this topic in the slide deck, which we'll send out. But what I've got here is a SharePoint site. You can see, Ian, we've got a theme going on here. We've got the dogs. You're not the only one who can be creative. So I used Copilot to generate some kind of nice friendly images for me. I love this one. The dog in the hard hat is kind of brilliant there, the little Jack Russell. And looks like you, Ian, with your headset on. But what I've got here, I've got all of my safety processes, my quality processes are all listed within my site. So if I want to look at how to handle dogs safely, I can access all of this information. It's all stored here as text. It's here in page content. It could just as easily be within documents. And what's interesting, again, everything you see here, I used Copilot to generate this. So when I was putting this together, I asked Copilot, what kind of processes should a mobile dog grooming business follow in terms of safety and in terms of quality? And it gave me some suggestions. So I took each of those suggestions and asked Copilot to generate page content for me. And it's kind of done that. So for our employees, this is fantastic. They can come to a single place, they can browse, they can get all of that information really, really easily, which is amazing. But there's something new. Because I'm a Copilot user, I have this little Copilot icon has appeared within my SharePoint. This is very exciting. This is something which is rolling out now, and it allows you to have a Copilot agent for your SharePoint site. What this is doing, this is a specific Copilot that will look at the contents of this site, whether it's in Word, PowerPoint, PDF, within page content, and it allows me to kind of interrogate the data on that site. This is kind of a game changer, really, because if you kind of look at Copilot now, it's amazing, but it casts a very, very wide net. So if I say to it, give me all the information on safety processes, for instance, it's kind of looking across my whole estate. If my data is structured well, there's a pretty good chance that Copilot might be able to find it and pull the relevant information. But what I've got here is the ability to interrogate specific targeted pieces of data and actually return results from that. This really, really is a game changer. And as I said, it does kind of, Copilot likes order, Copilot likes structure. So if you've got your data kind of all bundled together into a single environment, you are kind of going to struggle at times to get Copilot to kind of understand that. Having your data in neat, categorized buckets and silos will really help Copilot to understand your data and for you to be able to work with it more efficiently. This is great, but imagine I've got 5 SharePoint sites, 10 SharePoint sites, 20 SharePoint sites. I don't really want to be navigating to each one to open up the Copilot button and say, tell me about this, tell me about that. So what I've done, if I switch on over to Copilot here, I've built an agent. For those of you who followed Microsoft's recent announcements at Ignite, which Ignite was an event happened last month. There's a link to everything that Microsoft kind of published on that. It's all about agents. What I've done is created my own specific agent, which is available to me directly within Copilot, whether that's within the web browser or whether it's within Teams, that I can specifically target that data and ask it questions. You can see I've got the visual creator, which Ian was using earlier to create that great logo that we had. But the great thing about this, I've been able to customize this agent. I've been able to put in my own specific questions, my own specific prompts that I might want people to ask it. I'm able to give it a tone as well. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to run that and say, how can I keep myself safe? It's a general health and safety question. What Copilot is now doing, it's reasoning over the content within that processes site. Bang. What it's done, it's picked through, it's highlighted, assessing the dog's temperament, using proper restraint techniques, handling grooming products safely, and it's referenced and reasoned over 6 different pages and summarized them. So how to handle different breeds of dogs, proper technique for lifting dogs, handling of grooming products and equipment. And I've said I've given this a personality. What we can do with these agents is I've said to this, be a little less formal in tone and feel free to use emojis where appropriate. So that's where you can see we've got the little paw emojis have come in there, and it's kind of capable of producing smiley faces and all that. But you can kind of change this to make this more or less formal, and you can kind of customize it. Imagine having access to something like this where you can ask it questions about HR policies or client information to be able to say, how many communications have we had with this client? How many documents of this type do we have for this particular client? And just being able to do that directly using a custom agent directly built within Copilot is a real game changer feature. This is one of the things when I saw this was coming made me, Ian, I'm a SharePoint guy. I was really, really, really excited about this.
It's more interested in the pretty pictures as usual. Yeah, massive time saver. I think obviously as well, key to that is having your data stored securely, correctly, and in an orderly manner, which obviously we can help with.
Right, I'm just going to go back to my deck. So I'll resume there. So I was talking there about employee experience. We will be sending out the deck. There's a link to the previous webinar that we recorded back in October, I think that was, Ian, where we talk about the employee experience. So you'll be able to find out all about that. Right. What's coming in Teams? We did kind of tease that we talk about everything that's new and exciting coming up. There's a lot coming up. I've only just summarized it here. So what's coming? Well, in Teams, we have the facilitator agent. So this is it's a collaborative agent that you can add to Teams conversations, you can add to meetings. And what it will do is provide real-time AI generated notes on the fly, and it will kind of update those as the meeting progresses. We've all kind of used um, recordings within Teams meetings and ask Copilot to summarize those and give us the action points, and it's brilliant. But what this is doing is taking those notes kind of on the fly, and as a decision is made, it will kind of update those notes dynamically. They can happen within a Teams meeting, they can happen within a group chat, within an individual chat, and the participants can kind of see those. That is currently in public preview with general release for everyone sometime in early 2025. This just switched on for me kind of yesterday. So I haven't had too much of a chance to play with it yet, but this is one that I'm kind of really excited to kind of be looking at.
Yeah, I think Mark as well, just we're pointing out that we have a lot of people on this webinar who don't have Copilot just yet.
Yeah,
So Copilot and Teams, that alone, never mind the other bits that we've shown you so far.
Copilot and
Copilot and
Teams
Teams
yeah.
is a real game changer day to day. Yeah, capturing meeting notes, actions, the transcription element of it is just yeah, next level. It saves us a ton of time, and then it's going to get even better, as Mark said.
Yeah. So I mean, just if you just think about what, yeah, writing up the meeting notes and the actions,
Mm.
that can easily, for an hour meeting with 6 people in it, it can easily take you an hour to kind of write up notes, or you're writing notes during the meeting, and if you're writing notes, you're not paying attention. If you can just get someone else to listen and kind of do that all for you, game changer. So what else is coming in Teams? So I've seen a demo of this. This is coming in early 2025. I'm still trying to get my head around this. Copilot is able to reason over content that is shared on the screen, not shared as a document, but say here where I've shared this PowerPoint presentation, it's able to kind of reason over that, and I can ask questions of it, like, what were the key points on this slide? That's going to be really useful for those who kind of in meetings like this where there's a lot of documents and stuff being shared on screen. A Copilot is able to capture that.
Magic.
And
That's all I can say.
file summaries in one-to-one and group chats. So it's kind of great that Copilot can summarize all of that content, but what it hasn't been able to do until now, until very shortly, is to be able to kind of reason through and summarize those documents that are shared in a chat. So Ian, you might send me a document in a chat. I just have to kind of open it and kind of read through it myself. From early 2025, I can just use Copilot and just say, summarize that document that Ian just sent to me, and it'll just kind of do that on the fly. Um, it's quite a small feature, but again, it's one of those that will make a big difference to people's time.
Yeah, I'll use that every day. Saves you a ton of time.
Yeah. So what's coming in terms of productivity? This is a really interesting one, and I think this is going to be a real Trojan horse feature. It's called Copilot Actions. As you can see there, I've got a template. Microsoft will be offering a number of different templates that I can kind of use to get Copilot to perform specific actions for me. This is proactive Copilot. Copilot tends to be quite reactive, i.e., I have to go to it, I have to ask it something, and it gives me a result. This is proactive in that I can set up this rule, this agent, and I can say, for instance, summarize my emails related to a specific topic in the last week, and then notify me over email. And I can just kind of set that up and leave it, and it will run once a week, and it will find that information, it will find those topics, and it will send me that over email. It may be able to as well do things like gathering inputs from your team, as it says there, to get them to kind of send you information in a weekly newsletter. So I can just say, do this for me, and it will just kind of automate that, and that will happen. That's in private preview, which means only a very select few organizations have got access to that. We don't, unfortunately, yet. General release is TBD. If I had to guess, I would say this is probably middle of next year. Might be a little bit earlier. I think this is probably a Q2 feature rather than something that's coming in Q1. But it's going to be really interesting to see what comes out of this one. This one This is really, really exciting. A project manager available to you within Microsoft Planner. Some of you may already be using Microsoft Planner. It is included in your Microsoft subscription. Allows you to kind of put project plans together, have this nice kind of Kanban board, be able to assign tasks to people and assign dates and have reports off of those. There was Copilot coming for Microsoft Planner that allows you to type in the goals of your project, what it is you're trying to achieve, and it will generate a kind of sample project plan and put that together. That's great. The really cool thing, and haven't we haven't had this enabled yet. It is in public preview shortly with general release to be determined. What it allows you to do is take one of those tasks and assign it to what's called the project manager, which is AI itself. So let's say, oh, I need to do some research on dog grooming competition in the local area. I can write that task, I can write that prompt, and I can assign it to AI. As we see in the screenshot here, it's got assigned to the project manager, and it'll go off into the internet and it'll do its research and it'll kind of come back with its results. If it needs help from you, needs input, it will let you know. It will drop it into this bucket here and say, I've done something, but I need you to kind of review it. Being able to farm out some of those tasks to AI is incredibly powerful. I'm really, really looking forward to kind of seeing this one in action. And PowerPoint. I will record that video so you can see the PowerPoint narrative builder. We're going to have the best of both worlds in that previously we had the narrative builder and we had the ability to create a PowerPoint presentation from a document. Now I'm going to be able to open up that narrative builder, type in what I want, and then reference multiple files to say, this is what I want to create, but have a look at this business plan, have a look at this market research document, and it will use that to kind of generate that. A big one as well. A couple of customers have already asked me about this. So as you saw when Ian had created his PowerPoint deck, it went off into the internet and found some images. The images were really, really good. Copilot does a really good job of understanding the context of what you've asked it. As you saw there, we had lots of pictures of cute dogs and people kind of playing with their dogs. What you will soon be able to do in Q1 2025 is point PowerPoint to an organization image asset library. So organization assets is something that allows you to store all of those images, logos, all of that information that you use internally in a single SharePoint site. This is something we configure for you as part of your employee experience. Customers have asked me about this. Can we use our own images? Yes, you will be able to, as long as you've got a kind of good quality, wide variety of images within your library. You're going to be able to point PowerPoint to it and say, use this as reference. So if it's putting out logos and the kind of standard information you might want to put in your PowerPoint decks, it's going to be able to use that. Really looking forward to seeing that one. Then coming in Excel, this is one for you, Ian. Tell us about this, the new start experience in Excel.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier that Excel is not my strongest point. Being so creative. So yeah, this will enable people of all skill levels, like base level like me, to create a spreadsheet from scratch, essentially. So all manner of things. So budgets, trackers, sales reports, whatever. You can you can literally start from scratch on them. So this I am super excited about. It'll save me literally tons of man hours just trying to do a basic formula. Yeah,
just having that
template.
This is what I'm trying to do all of the headers and put that together for you and start is brilliant. And that's going to be generally available by the end of this year. So by the time everyone comes back from Christmas, it should have lit up within Excel for most of you. And that's in addition to all of the Excel features which have come kind of more recently. The advanced stuff, you can get Copilot to generate Python code for you now as well. That's kind of all there within Excel. As I said, I've just kind of scratched the surface of everything that's coming. There is a QR code and a link here, which will take you to a Microsoft site, which gives you more information on all of that that's coming. Pricing updates, Ian.
Yeah. actually really happy to announce Copilot's now available on a monthly subscription basis. It's still an annual commitment, and there's a 5% cost uplift compared to the annual one-off payment, but it does make that more accessible from a price point perspective, rather than I need a license, I've got to pay that annual cost all at once. It spreads it out across obviously the 12 months. In addition to that, we've actually got a special Microsoft promotion running until the end of December this year. During this period, you can enjoy 15% discount on that's net new, brand new Copilot customers, Copilot licenses, provided you order a minimum of 10 licenses. It's a great opportunity to leverage Copilot's capabilities at a reduced cost, so basically don't miss out on that.
For every 10 you're basically getting 1.5 licenses for free.
Exactly.
That's a really good offer, but yeah, it does only run until
it does, unfortunately. You've got until the end of the month, so yeah. Crack on.
Okay, so a little bit on what we can do for you. So our Copilot service isn't just about kind of selling you the licenses and applying those for you. We can help you to make your data Copilot ready, usually through the deployment of an employee experience, which kind of looks at all of your security and making sure that your data is kind of managed effectively so you can make the best out of Copilot. We will, of course, help with the purchasing and the assignment of licenses. But we also offer training and best practice support, which includes Prompt Buddy, which is an app you can install into Teams that has pre-configured prompts that you can use. You can create your own prompts in there, and you can kind of share those with colleagues and have that kind of conversation around best practice within that. And we can also add Copilot specific content to our employee experience training portal. There is a subscription required for that. We're happy to talk to you about all of that. Questions? You can see we've got some questions Q&A.
There's one actually around the presentation side of things. So if we produce that presentation, obviously it produced that PowerPoint in the end for me in the background. Thanks for that PowerPoint. How do you get it as in an in-house style? And I know we obviously touched on the forthcoming kind of functionality around it. So that would really, I guess, cover that off, wouldn't it, really? So it'll use your own imagery. And I guess just in line with that as well, another question was, so in the presentation example, how can we be confident of the copyright status of the images used? So that is the PowerPoint produced ones. So yeah, it would be a shame to go out with a presentation and get sued. So
Microsoft uses kind of approved image assets for that. It's kind of not going off, and they have a statement policy on that, which you can kind of dig out, and we can kind of include that. If you do configure organization assets and just say use our own internal images, then that kind of goes away as well, which is a follow-up question that was kind of asked about that.
I've got a full blog on that from Microsoft that we can include in the PowerPoint. But yeah, it's a really good question, very relevant. So yeah, but you're covered essentially. So that are the questions for just now. If anybody else got any more questions, then feel free to ask just as we finish off, or you can send them separately after the webinar is finished, by all means. So next steps. So if you're interested in a further exploratory chat, just get in touch. We've got a form you can fill in. Alternatively, we can contact you directly via your account manager. So complete the form, you scan the QR code or click on the link there. We'll contact you at a time that suits you. There's no obligation. So yeah, if you're interested in finding out more, just give us a shout and we'll try and help you.
Yeah, we'd be really happy to talk to you. It's an exciting thing as Copilot. So yeah, we'd look forward to talking to any of you.
Yeah. So apologies for the technial glitch in the middle with PowerPoint.
I'll record that video, which you can guarantee will work the second that I drop off the call, and then we can attach that to the recording.
Yeah, just one final question, because this is a really good one actually. One final question that's coming is with regards to the access to SharePoint. How do you limit what can be seen or provide information on? Is this all done through Purview? So yeah, I guess this comes down to the data readiness review, really, doesn't it, Mark?
It all comes down to SharePoint permissions. So Copilot will never return data to you that you don't have access to see. So if you've got a particular set of data, um, let's say it's financial information, some of it may be more restricted than others. Let's say I'm the senior finance manager and Ian is someone who works in my department. Ian has specific rights to see some of that finance information. I have the rights to see all of it. When we use Copilot, it will only return information that I can see. It's never going to be able to. So if Ian searches it, it's not going to be able to say to look at information that only I've got access to. That's all kind of handled through your in-house security, whether that's through Exchange security, Team security, or through SharePoint. That is always obeyed. SharePoint. Copilot will never ever return data that you can't see, just as SharePoint doesn't. It always obeys those same kind of rules. But a really, really good question.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's all for now. So thanks everybody for taking time out to
Thank you for
join
your
us
time,
today.
everyone.
Yeah, and anybody who registered, whether they've been able to attend or not, will receive the full PowerPoint deck that we've been through today. And like I said, if you've got any questions that you thought of after we finish, feel free to send them over.
Yeah,
Thank
absolutely.
you.
All right. Thank you for your time, everyone.
Bye.